My volume.
Hello, hello, and welcome to my show TikTok, where we talk about what makes successful people tick and what it took for them to pursue their passions, follow their dreams, and achieve their goals. The word eventologist is not yet even officially in Webster's dictionary, but when you Google the word, the name of my guest always comes up. Whether he invented it or reinvented it, it's a very telling manifestation of how he has invented the kind of job, lifestyle, life, and success he's enjoying today. Please welcome the top events, party, and talk show host and producer, lifestyle editor, club and bar owner, and the life of any party, Mr. Tim Yap. Hi, Tim.
Hey, Mirza. Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Me too. Thank you so much. I'm so happy that your show is Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday,
Yeah.
and mine is Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 5 p.m. So I was able to get you today. So I'm so happy you're continuing what was once the Tim Yap show. We
Yes.
were missing you for a while.
Yeah. I've always wanted to do it continuously, but then there comes a time that the rigors of a daily show gets to you, and one of my other passions aside from being doing what we do now is to travel. So
Yes.
it was hard because I couldn't travel. I had to tape so many shows in order to. Oh, did we lag?
Oh, no. There.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Go
Okay.
on, go on.
I think in my screen here it's I stopped. Anyway, so it was not easy to continue with a show, and then the time slot was also taken over by a block timer that paid so much more. So for the network, it was gonna be more profitable, but more than that, there was gonna be a late night block on GMA 7. So it was gonna
Oh.
be the talks were it was my show and then Kuya Germs walang
Oh.
tulugan. O, di ba? But then Kuya Germs passed. So
Oh,
we didn't
no.
get to talk about it anymore. And then time went by and I went into other ventures. And then during lockdown, one time Javi was watching his Spanish show, and I go, that's what I want to do. That's what I love to do. And I go, okay, let's do it then. So after the first week of lockdown, after doing the food drives and everything else, we just said let's do it. Okay, let's take a look at how we can do it. And Javi discovered the software, and yeah, so it became a continuing thing, because I always would tell our friends, people in the industry, that guys, whatever you can do to help uplift people's minds, spirits, and
Right.
feed and nourish them with information, with ways to uplift them, do it. If you're a good singer, sing by all means. Make That's why I love the Musicahan concert series. If what we do is we know how to help inform people, by all means, everybody has a voice. Everybody can do something to be able to help uplift each other.
Right. I'm so glad you said it because initially I was kind of worried because my thrust is like friends from the fashion industry, right? And I was worried that people might say, ano naman yung katuturan ng fashion industry? Pero actually, marami pala.
Madami fashion industry kasi. These are people who work in the fashion industry, but these are human beings with the same needs, with the same wants, with the same yearnings, and lahat tayo, we're suffering the same way.
Right. And of course, you're a natural choice for a guest. And I know someone is a household name when my own mother requests for that person, and she requested specifically for you. She wants to know
Wow.
if your personality is as colorful as your outfits.
I'm all in black and white today.
Or you know the person is really a household name if in local movies such as what you do, you play yourself. And even
Yes.
in Crazy Rich Asians 3, there's a character named Tim Yip. I think based on you, is that right?
Yes, because the night before I had gone out with Kevin, So I think what Kevin did was in his short visit to Manila, he based it on the characters that he remembers, or so it became because that situation happened in a party really in Manila, and
Right.
I was there, but I didn't write about it. But in his book, in that chapter, I wrote about it. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. We can't wait until you play yourself, hopefully, because my friend Russell Wong played himself and he was Russell Wing.
Oh wow! In part two or part one?
In part one, he was there.
In part one, he was there, Russell
He
Wong.
was the
Yeah.
photographer for Vogue,
Oh
if you remember.
wow!
Yes.
That's
But
great.
anyway, let's start from the beginning. People
Hey to your
often,
mom, I want to say hello to your mother.
oh, yeah,
Hello.
hi, hi. Her name is
Hi.
Lilia.
Yeah.
Let's start from the beginning for people who are wondering, where did you come from? Saan ba nanggaling si Tim Yap? Well, what I know is that you're the youngest of 7 kids.
Yes.
And when you were young, I don't know how old were you when you won the lead role in the repertory play Lost in Yonkers?
Yes, I was a little boy and I was always yearning to be with other people with a creative set, you know. So I joined workshops. I auditioned, just on my own. I wasn't even allowed to go to those places, but I would escape and commute on my own to be able to go there and then come back to school. My driver would pick us up, thinking that I just came from a school rehearsal, not knowing I was already in a professional
And
show.
your parents only found out in the papers when they read about it now. And
Yes,
I read that
it
you
was in
even
Manila Bulletin.
convinced
That was the
even
paper that they
convinced
were
your
reading.
school security guard na
Yes,
meron kang official na lakad. Talk
I,
about persuasion powers at an early age.
I can persuade security guards. Yes. So yeah, that just so happened that I don't know, maybe because if I have a goal and I'm so set on that goal, from when I was a kid, I didn't let anything stop me from pursuing it. So I had to escape from the guard because no student was allowed to leave the campus at any time except for dismissal. So I would leave every time before dismissal to be able to make it to rehearsal. Sabit sa jeepney from Menjola to Shaw Boulevard, and I
Wow.
would get to the rehearsal, and it was a daily thing for me. And the thing about me, since I was a young kid, I never looked at hardship. I never looked at when I had to do something that was not easy outside my comfort zone. I never saw it as such. Only when we got older, that's when I realized, oh, this is what it is pala to be outside your comfort zone. Because there's a term na. Di ba dati
Right.
mahirap? All you can say was, mahirap to ah. Pero hindi, it never even entered my mind na mahirap yung something. But for me,
Right.
something had to be done, and it's alongside with the goal, then let's do it.
So bata pa lang, maabilidad na.
Hindi ko nga alam ang abilidad yun eh. Siguro persistence. It's just really hard work is ingrained in our family's consciousness. I grew up in a very conservative Filipino Chinese family that grew up in Binondo with bodega. And I was working in our family business as bodeguero during summers and after school. So nothing. It was very hardcore conservative business. There was no at that time. There was no marketing. There was no creativity.
Right, right.
All of those things was just hardcore transactional.
How did you even explain or convince your parents about yung mga pinaggagawa mo? Like, you were starting to help out with, you started in the event scene by first helping out with repertory, which graduated to events. How did you
Yes.
even explain
So
that to your parents? Were they worried? Were they angry?
no, from theater, diba, I went to the from on stage to backstage to marketing. So and from marketing to producing, from producing to events to media to etc. etc. But then prior to that, I think my mom enrolled me in an art class. So I was painting, I was doing, and then realized, hey, I like this. And then I was always at the time reading the newspaper, reading magazines, the few that we had. I was always watching television. That's why it's so funny because when I'm with older friends and I know the old artistas, the first time I got starstruck was when Carmi Martin went to my party.
Wow.
Because I go, oh my God, it's Carmi Martin. It's the first time I saw somebody from television when I was a kid be there at my event. So I'm like a little kid that watched all the piling piling pelikula. that watched everything from Going Bananas to That's Entertainment, GMA Super Show,
So
all
you're
those.
like a sponge. You just absorb everything in media.
We didn't have cable, we didn't have internet. So after reading the kiddie encyclopedia in every family had an encyclopedia set.
Yes, yes.
So after I read the kiddie encyclopedia, I decided I wanted to venture out. So I became Batang Gala. My family, my mother and my dad, my mom was busy working and making to help to be able to support us. My dad was busy out at night. So if I was a dad now, I'd be that person. He was like, out at night. I go, what's happening? I became a night person because I was waiting for my dad to come home all the time
Oh.
and quite late. So it's
So that's the start of the adjustment of your body clock.
nasanay ako sanay sa gabi. Because our dad would always come home with food, savory fried chicken, and then at night, and then I'd wake everybody up and then, hey guys, come on, let's eat, because dad brought us food. It's always like around midnight time.
So when you were young, also, you and Robbie Carmona share maybe a first failure. You share the experience with me when you tried out for PMAP, the Professional Models Association of the Philippines. I saw your comment. You put in Robbie's PMAP reject. So you got rejected. How did you feel when you got rejected?
Myrza, to be honest, I am quite used to rejection. I'm very much a go-getter, and when I want something, I really set my sights and focus on it. But then also, if I don't get it, I have this good attitude about rejection. I know you win some and you lose some, and there are other things that are meant for you. So in my life's failures, and I don't even want to call it failures, I want to call it in all my life's transits, each of these, big no's led to even bigger yeses.
Right, because you surpassed anyone in that whole organization.
No, but at that time, really, it was like, how do I get to a bigger? I was always like, like a big fish in a small pond. So I always wanted to get into a bigger pond, like Ariel in Little Mermaid. I want to be part of that. Look at this stuff.
Yeah, where did all that confidence come from? Like, how does a conservative Chinese family raise a boy who is so confident that he will try to join and get into anything like that?
Actually, the confidence is not always there. The confidence is just you saying, no, I will do it. Come on. I'm not going to allow my fear to eat me up and say, I can't do it. If I don't succeed, it's okay. Next. In the theater, when I was gunning for this role, I was getting roles. I was getting already like support roles. I would be part of the curtain before, from chorus, from even outside chorus. I was behind, underneath Lea Salonga, and Lea Salonga singing on top of the stage. I was underneath, or hidden, from behind the chorus to bit part to because like you go to different parts, right? And there was a part that I said, "Oh, this is me." It was for a musical that Freddy Santos had written, and it says of a young boy who has an absentee father, and this boy is singing about his father. I go, that is my role. This is going to be my breakout part. This is it, because the original actor who had played that part had gone to Miss Saigon. O, di ba? Sa loob ko, kaya ko yan, ako yan. Ganon. So I auditioned to Freddy. And every day I was in Music Museum. Freddy and Odi Emora, they were listening to me every single day. And then I go, okay, that weekend I left for Hong Kong. And then apparently, they announced who got it. I didn't get it. I go, oh my, this is a sign. I'm not meant to be in the theater anymore. Okay. So I said, okay, I'm going to shift anyway. And then I watched the show. I go, Freddy Santos goes to me, where have you been? We've been looking for you. We were beeping you to be the alternate.
Beeping?
Pager. Oh, pager. The pager that I bought from Stephen Koo way back.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Siya nagpenta ng pager ko sa akin. So anyway, they were beeping me. I didn't get it because I was in transit. I didn't get the message that I was gonna be the alternate of the guy that they made to be on the show. But I said, no, Freddie, I made a decision. I don't want to do theater anymore. I want to be a host. So, yeah, oh, really? Okay, come to my house. So every day I went to Freddie Santos's house. He would take a video of
Oh,
me. He would tell me louder, enunciate more, do this, do that every day. But so from there, when I closed that theater door, it opened to other things, and because I wanted something else. So when you get a no in life, you have to listen. What what are the yeses, the new yeses that are gonna be that you are actually opening for yourself by saying no. So it's actually a
wow.
blessing.
So Freddie was your mentor pala.
Yes, 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 yes.
So what
Freddie,
was the first event you ever hosted?
the first event that I ever hosted was uh, I don't remember.
Or that you
Oh,
do remember, like a
oh, you know why? Because I've
big
been
break.
hosting, even in school, in St. Jude Catholic School, that was again very conservative. And the programs, I was hosting the programs, whether it be
Okay.
like an awarding for something, or the Christmas program, or the Miss Sports Fest, or whatever it was, I was hosting it for our school too.
But when you were a teenager, were you a party boy na? Or were
You know,
you throwing parties as a teenager?
not at all. I was a guest. I was like, that guest na parang, oh my mom, please allow me to go to this party because, no, you can't go to this party. Me, please, please, because I was FOMO as a kid. I really wanted to be part of the party. So it wasn't parties. In my school, I was a director. I was the one doing all the shows, all the happenings, all the events, not the parties, because our school didn't allow parties at that time. Our prom had juniors and seniors line up. Then the next day, you'll see your partner in the bulletin board. And our prom was in the afternoon, in broad daylight. So it wasn't that kind of a setting that was conducive to parties.
So where did you learn your social skills? Because I remember, I think it was the late 90s, the first or second time that I met you. I mean, I didn't know you from anyone, and I'll never forget this.
I
Uh,
went to you.
yeah, cell phone etiquette was different back then since cell phones were new. Parang super private ng number mo, di ba? Not like
Oh,
today na it's so common. So I'll
now
never
it's
forget.
IG. Now what's your IG? When you go out in clubs all
Right,
over the
right.
world, they ask for
So
your IG.
you went up to me and said, "Hey Myrza, I don't have your number yet. Can I have it?" So I was taken aback. I'm like, "Who's this kid asking for my number?" I was so shocked that I gave it. Then I realized wow, this guy is really confident and he's bold, but he's not brash. And you were really already such a schmoozer when you were so young. How did that come about?
Because I realized, I'm always an outsider insider, so I'm always outside the circle. And then I see it, I go, hey, this is, cool. I think I'm going to learn something from these people. At that time, Preview had just come out, magazine,
Right,
right?
right.
It's their first issue. I was so impressed by it because, I could, the only magazine that was at home were like, Mod or Women Today at the time, the local ones, right? Of course, not the Vogues and the Bazaars, but so I was when I was looking at preview, it was so fresh. It was their Tweety de Leon issue. And then it was
Yes.
a very first ever. And then just so happened because it was your stories and Lea Puyat stories. So I knew you guys by reading you guys in the magazine.
Right.
And then I saw you guys at the Mandarin at Captain's Bar.
Wow, what a
That was where
memory.
I saw you guys. I saw you and I approached you because I felt like I knew you because I was reading you. I knew your experiences modeling in Hong Kong, with your caster and all of those experiences that you wrote, that you had written. It was the vlog of them.
Yes, yes. So you felt like you knew us, and
Yeah.
therefore, why not really know them, right?
Yes. Yes. Exactly. And also because in my mind, like I have no fear na baka naman they'll think I'm ganito, baka they'll
Right.
think, yeah, because I'll ask. If I don't get it, they're okay. There's no harm in asking.
Which is a great attitude because I think Pinoys are really debilitated by kaya naman, baka naman ganito, baka naman ganyan. But sometimes it's really all in the mind, right?
Yeah, exactly. And really, the person, when in that situation, they're not thinking of anything. I mean, you really, what you see is what you get. Oh, this guy wants a photo with me. Sure, hello. This guy wants ganito, or it's and if
Yeah.
they say no, they know.
Right. And we're always thinking, baka sabihin ng kapal ko, baka sabihin,
O
ano
ano
ba?
naman kung makapal tayo, di ba?
Kala mo kung sino.
What is it naman, di ba? If
Right. And I think in your experience and career, konting kapal is actually productive.
yes, I think in any career, you need to be makapal in terms of knowing what you want, saying what you want, because if you don't say it, nobody will know about it. You have to vocalize, visualize, manifest it in one way or another. It can't be your little secret. I mean,
Right.
maybe when you find out that this is what you want in life, keep it to yourself, or strategize, or do whatever. But sometimes you just have to jump in. And, life is super short. Might as well grab it by the balls.
So I remember too when the word eventologist entered our consciousness and it was already associated with your name. And people were like, ano yan? Eventologist daw. May ganun ba? And apparently now when I Google you, your name comes up. It's not even in the dictionary. So where did you get that word or how did it come about and how did it become?
That word is really purely my invention. But I was at a shoot at Raymond Isaac's studio. We were shooting for, I'm not sure if it was Benetton or something, but when we were shooting, and then Raymond said, what you do is not exactly an event planner. You should call it something else. So what? So what? So we were like, no, an eventologist. Okay, perfect. So we gave birth to the term eventologist at Raymond Isaac's studio there, and then
Oh, yun
and then
pala.
and then I used it, and then now it's a term that other people use for themselves. But by all means, it's free for all. I don't wanna. I can say that we invented it, but people are free to use it.
Right. There, I've even found a London group called eventologist.com. So I guess they used your word.
Oh wow, amazing! Yeah, but I'm sure it wasn't built during 1990 something. It was
Yeah.
2000s now. Yeah.
You also kind of reinvented the society column because before you came along, there's only Maurice Arcacha and he was like a social arbiter and it's always like the alta sociedad that got into the column. But here you come along and you become a party columnist and everyone is featured there from broad reach cutting across classes. May artista, may socialite, may fashion industry. How did you become a columnist and eventually you became a lifestyle editor with your own section?
I think I went to the Inquirer, and then I was introduced by Larry Leviste. And then from then on, I met Laika Carpa also, who said, "Hey, why don't you write for me?" Or I think one time I went to the office also of and Thelma San Juan was there, and she said, "So what's your name?" I said, "I'm Tim Yap," and she goes, "Are you related to like with shock? Are you related to the Yaps of Bulletin?" Like that. Like kasi in her mind, why
Ah,
is a yap here?
competition.
Why is a yap here in the Inquirer? I go, no, I am not. Okay. He said, okay. And then yeah, I got close to Thelma, and then Laika, and then I was writing about the youth beat. And then
Right,
all of a
right.
sudden, younger people become older, but also because I was in the party scene, I saw that it wasn't a conscious decision, but because these were the circles I was moving in. It wasn't in the high society circle, but the zeitgeist was dictated by artists. Different people moving in these different circles, which are actors, creative types, entrepreneurs. Maybe because during the 80s, in the maybe early 90s, it was all about society. It was like a
Right,
pyramid.
right.
It was a pyramid that everything moved from the
It's
top,
very elitist.
very elitist. And then I realized the kind of content that I gunned for was not aristocracy, but meritocracy. To be honest, like the royalty doesn't interest me at all. I don't know whoever is the uncle of whatever Prince Ganito, nothing. I know nothing and I have no interest about who has the crown. For me it's all about who is moving in the society, making Manila move at that time, That's why when I go out, I love meeting people. It's never no new friends. It's always all new friends because I'm always open to meeting new it girls, meeting new entrepreneurs, people who are now the techpreneurs inventing new things that will fuel the movement and the progress of a city, of a community, of the Philippines. And
Right.
that's what when I was actively working and documenting the people that made things happen, that was my thrust. Because the quote unquote aristocracy, they're just set and happy with what they have. So there's not much movement there.
So from party chronicler, you became a club co-owner with Eric Kua. How did that partnership come about?
From and then it jumped to events, it jumped to parties, right? And then Eric called me to throw parties for him, uh, to open temple. The
Yeah.
first time we worked together, it was like we looked at each other. It's like there's magic. Like it's like what I can do, what you can do, different. When we work together, something great is happening. Something great happens when we work together. So that started our, until now, more than 15 years of working together, 15 or even 16, yeah, 16, 17 years of working together. I don't remember the years. I remember a lot of things, but not the number.
Right. And up to now, you're still one of the hardest working people in the nightlife scene. So hands on. And I'm like, if you personally text each of your guests, such that
Yes.
you really cannot say no to you. I mean, don't you get tired? Ang daming gagawin.
Hindi kasi ako nga parang for me, I never get tired like, because I feel it's part of what we need to do to get the Manila going, to get the scene. Uh, I think we need to help each other, like push the city to go to its next step. Or whether, say, if we're in crisis, and this is what we need to do to be able to help inspire and uplift or the city. Like, and I love, like say with Eric, what he wanted at that time was to make the biggest dance floor for Manila because Manila didn't have a proper dance floor. The biggest clubs then were bars. We were just partying at Venezia, which was a fun place. But I don't want to grow old and say, oh, we were just partying at a small, at the time. Then now big. But see, you see, everything goes in cycles. So it's different. It's a different time, different place at a different time, and I don't get tired because I know there's a lot of things that need to be done. And honestly, I guess once while we are here on Earth, we're here to do something. For a purpose. There's a reason why we're here. So when we're not here, then okay na. Wala na akong gagawin. Kasi I don't know baka naman if I'm a spirit, ang nagmumulto-multo pa ako. Hindi ko
so,
alam.
at the height of your success, what were your parents thinking? By then, naintindihan na ba nila kung anong business mo?
Hindi. Kasi they were also always outside of it. They had no understanding of it because they they couldn't fathom what I was into and what exactly I was doing. They couldn't even, well, at least my mom, I guess, couldn't picture people being out past midnight like that. Eventually they understood, but then they made no judgment about it. So it was something that was like, okay, that's what he wants to do. Let him. He's not a nuisance naman to us. He's not asking for anything. He's even providing. He's even supporting. Sure.
So, they pinabayaan na lang parang,
Oh, hayaan mo na yan. Oh.
hayaan mo na yan. And then at the height of your fame, this was about maybe 17, 15 years ago, you were beset by scandals from
Yes.
blogs, Gucci Gang, all that, hula baloo. What was that like for you and how did you survive it?
Honestly, in the beginning, it was like I was, I always use humor, I guess, as a way. I don't know if it's my defense that I laugh about it to make light of the situation, but I remember reading because I'm not so techy, I don't check what people say about me online, I don't research myself. Uh, And when a friend of mine did, Divine actually told me she showed me what was being said about me, and I go, what? I was laughing about it because a lot of it, most of it, were not true. It wasn't true. And then so, and then I go, I know I'm being written about here because look, every time he talks about me, the numbers go up. So wala pang term called clickbait nun. No, so I go, because this guy, whoever that guy was, wanted to the numbers because he had a story to tell, and he needed me to magnify his story. Okay, whatever. But see, uh, when these incidents happen in your life, and that's why when it comes to like other people who are high profile and they go through these big huge upheavals, everybody going crazy about somebody's breakup or scandal. I'm the first one that I call them or they call me and I tell them, bro, sis, this is how you go about it. You focus on positivity. You don't let another friend told me, Catholic goddess told me, you know, this I always remember and I never forgotten. When one tries to envelope you with darkness, you shine your light. So even if you have to shine your inner light, flashlight, kung ano mang light, just because darkness is afraid of light. So I always heed that sentence, and I always use it because when you're just in the dark, then you can't see. You need to see clearer. You need to see better so that you know what to do about it. So
What are
what I
some concrete examples of shining your own light? So instead of like Googling yourself or
yeah,
moping, what should you do instead?
instead of wallowing in self-pity, I never had a pity party. And I guess I went out, I met people, I became productive, I did projects, I didn't stop. There was one billboard that was brought down because they were scared of whatever of the talk. Okay, now I know who's with me, I know who's not with me. It's all right. It doesn't make me, and my life is not my stardom. My life is not my fame. If you don't know me tomorrow, all right, I can do other things. It's not dependent on that. Because life becomes hard when you think that your bubble is it. That you think that this is all there is to life. There's so much bigger and better, and this life is so much broader than the bubble that we think we're in. And sometimes it needs to be burst for you to know that it's bigger, and that's the big blessing when that happens.
Were you ever caught up in your own bubble? Like sometimes success or fame can get into people's heads. How come you had this kind of attitude that my fame is not my life?
I think because it was always being taken away from me, so I go, eh, di wag na kaya. But because I was, I'm sure, even if I tell myself, no, it never got to me, whatever, but I'm sure it did. I'm sure there were times na, yabang naman ito, or whatever. Like, I remember saying no to a deal that gave me a car, or whatever. Like, I go, no, I don't want it. Mga ganon. I stuck
Uh-huh.
to, my price, or to my ganito, or to my perceived value at the time. Yung pala, hindi pala. Yung pala, hindi pala. So, hindi nag-pursue yung deal, but it's okay. I think I don't give it that much importance because I know that it's not lasting, and but I appreciate it when it's there, whether it's different times and different lessons.
Right. My brother-in-law, Martin Wisniewski, has always said, but no matter how famous Tim is now, he's still the same guy we used to party with in the early 2000s. And so I
Yeah,
think
but
people really appreciate that you're still very down to earth and friendly.
oh, thank you. I never look at it as a different. I just look at it as a different set of clothes, But you are not your clothes too, Something that you wear. Then after you wear it, you put it in the laundry or decide to wear it again whenever. But I remember your brother-in-law and yeah, we would go to parties before because remember Manila when you say party, kasi nagkaroon ng bad connotation when you say party, But really party before celebrations, get-togethers. This was how Manila got together. This was how you got to see that Manila was this kind of community. That when you need them, they will be of help. They will support. When a model when somebody in the industry gets into an accident, and then somebody became blind, they come together to do a fundraising. Well, when somebody gets into a car accident, their face gets shattered, they make a fundraiser. It's a community thing. And at that time, uh, before things became tribal, it became like these only this circle goes together, niche together. Before it was one circle, and then it became cubicles. It became like there was there. That's why for me, my role, our role in media, in events planning, eventology, is to bridge these gaps so that people can connect with each other and not tayo, kayo lang, kami lang. We have to be bridges with each other. And lalo na now that people are in isolation and needs to social distance, our role in doing what we do is to be able to remind them that we're all in this together, no matter what, even if we can't touch.
Right. And of all the industries, I think your industry, live events, severely affected, not just the party goers or the party planners, but all the people and crew who work behind the scenes. What's going through your mind, and how are you coping or even planning the rest of the year? Maybe if there be no theater performances, no.
And we always see each other in opening nights of theater. We're always
Right.
behind, you're in front of me. Myrza,
Yes.
in the openings that we love. Theater is my first love, will always be my love. Anything that I can do to support it, I will. Um, the live events, theater activations industry took a hit, and like before the lockdown, on those days, I had like six events around before the lockdown, and even on the lockdown day itself. And I had already worked on promoting stuff for all these brands in those coming weeks. Also, Javi on his part for Yaparat's events has a whole year already lined up, 25 to 30 events for a
Wow.
particular brand. Everything was already lined up. Even New Year's countdowns, we've already lined up that. It's already in the works. And everything had to take a back seat. But what we did was we came together, all the people. When these things happen, you have to. It's not about competition. It's about collaboration. As you've heard it from Robbie Carmona and from Raho, what they've been posting. So now time to come together. So we brought in all the top event activations and promoters from for concerts and everything. We formed LEAP, it's a league of events and live activations of the Philippines. So there's NLEC and there's LEAP, and then we all work together. And then right now they're like what Congressman Talk to Venetia are doing. They're doing it for the wage subsidy for the stimulus bill for the people who are affected for the freelancers. There's been 1.1 million freelancers that were affected by the pandemic. So there, but on our side from Yaparazzi events, Javi's on top of it. And just yesterday, we did an event for Sunsilk for Unilever. It was a graduation. It's a virtual graduation of this batch, and it was so inspiring seeing all these super cute, pretty girls. It's their like little coming of age. So I'm so happy that I saw them and it was in our event where they did their like first, that was their first like their debut.
This must require a lot of very quick pivots, right? Like suddenly everything you know about lights and sounds and mounting a stage, iba na. Now you have to know the tech.
In the tech booth, I was watching Javi because my booth is there. That one. That's where I do my show. That's where I do. And then here, this is his booth. So I saw him how he was coordinating the event from here. And close and open mic now and next and enter Catherine Bernardo, enter Maris Racal, enter. It was like, wow, we're doing everything from the control station of our home.
Right, right. Tell us about Javi. How did you meet him? Where, when? And
Who's
tell us
Javi?
about that moment.
We were set
Hi,
up by Anton
Javi.
San Diego. Hi, Avi. We were set up by Anton San Diego. And he told me, Tim, you got to meet this guy I met. And I go, oh, I'm busy tonight. I just tell them to come to I'm hosting the Peninsula in Pink. The It was the breast cancer
Oh, I think I was there. That's
fundraiser,
when you met. Yeah.
which I always host. I host it every year. And then that night, it was in a small venue like a conservatory or salon de ning, ganyan. And I, uh, I he and arrived with Vicky Zubiri and Anton and not with Steph, but with Audrey. Yeah, and then after that, uh, they had gone to Donosti, and Audrey Zubiri called me. Hey, there's this guy is raving about you. I go, yeah, tell him to come here to Japan again. But anyway, that night, I met. No, because okay, reverse. I my friend Annette introduced me to somebody. She was a psychic, and then she told me, you're about to meet the one.
Wow. That night.
No, and I said, when? And they said, he's Spanish, and kulot, and you'll meet him in October. And only when after we
Breast
were
Cancer Month.
yes, and only after we were together, I remember that night that we met was October 1, and I had raised in that small room 1 million for breast cancer, and I had met the one on October 1. And then so our partnership has resulted like first year I was hosting, he was in the audience. The next year he was my PA, he was holding my script. The following year he was directing the show. The following year he was already producing the show, and so our collaboration had resulted to something at the end of those 4 years of doing the breast cancer thing. We were able to help raise money for a breast cancer center for underprivileged women.
So your love gave birth to saving lives. It seems
Somewhat.
like
Then I realized indeed our love gives birth to great, amazing things.
right. How did you uh, decide that you clicked? You had a good working relationship, and it's not easy to work with a loved one, right?
Totally not. Totally not. You get on each other's nerves all the time. We have different ways of doing. I'm very impulsive. I go by gut feel, instinct. Javi goes by process, and I don't like. I go A to Z. Let's go. Javi wants the B, C, D, E, F, G, everything in its order. So but I guess it's a yin and yang thing. So in a way, even if it's very opposite, it just sort of you know forms on its own, and it becomes productive at the end of the
Right.
day.
So what's the secret to working together with your partner?
Social distancing. uh, Secret there is you complement each other, not compliment, complement, because somehow we're really different, and you will always get into friction, but you give each other space, and I think at the end of the day, we respect each other, we respect what we can bring into the table, and at the end, we just let each other be. Like, Javi can't change me. This is me, how I am already, and I realize that he loves his process. So I let him be too.
So a few years ago on your birthday, we were all caught by surprise when you proposed to Javi.
Yeah,
Tell us about that moment. Was he surprised?
he was super surprised. To be honest, I was gonna do it a year before, but the only person I told was a showbiz manager. And then that showbiz manager who was managing me said, "No, Tim, you will lose all everything. Don't do it. It's to the detriment of your career. It won't add anything. I mean, we
Bakit
all
daw?
know. We all know anyway. The whole industry knows it's not a secret, but you don't need to announce it in a big way." Huh? Okay. And you don't know me. I'm auto. I listen. And then so, but I wanted to do it not a year before that. But then that year, I thought, I need to do it already on this day. Because your birthday, I always like to celebrate. That's why I celebrate my birthday. Because your birthday is your luckiest day of your entire year. Among millions of sperm and an egg, it's you, the combination that resulted into you, and you come out into the world to experience all of joy, pain, laughter, sorrow, success, failure, everything is happens to you on that day. So that's your luckiest day. That's why they say blow a candle, make a wish on your birthday, because that's when it's supposed to, like, when all the gods conniving to give it to you, you know. So I did it on my birthday because I knew it was the time that I was luckiest, and it will, it was gonna be a good thing. So I called my friend Rafi Florencio, who's a jeweler, to all I needed was a ring anyway, right? So I called him and I said, how do I know? How do I get the ring? And I'll get his finger and then doing like that and whatever. So, and in the end, I got the shoe size. And apparently, from the shoe size, you can determine the ring size somehow. So there. And when Rafi came to my party, brought the ring, I already had it. That's it.
Right. So, uh, what happened to what the manager was saying? Like, did you just say, no, my love is so strong, I'm gonna
I
forget
have
what you
another.
said?
He wasn't my manager anymore at that time.
What was he so scared about?
I guess a lot of people, and even from the office, like another handler of mine said, my auntie was so shocked. Chinese, no? Why? Or like it was something that maybe at the time, of course, now we live in different times. And hello, ilang years lang yun, no?
Oh,
Kasi nga, ang bilis ng panahon ngayon, di ba? Ang bilis ng nagbabago lahat ng mga bagay-bagay. So like, uh, well, you can't please everyone, number one. And
so it's more of the conservatism. In fact, I'm gonna ask about your parents again. Sorry to keep asking, but
yes,
since you said conservative Chinese family,
yes. Honestly, I never had to naman, really, in my mind. I never was that person who wanted to please everybody. I mean, I remember when I looked at now that the photographers are have time on Facebook and they tag you in all those weird shots from before with all the different kinds of hair and all the things that I was wearing. I go, oh my God. So I wasn't really pleasing anyone. It was not about, it was about express, not impress. But somehow you get into a stage where you want to impress everyone. I mean, it's human nature because we're in a very public industry. Fashion, media, entertainment. Parang you want to impress everyone. But really, it's about how you express yourself. So um, at that time, I guess in terms of like endorsements, it was more. But now we're doing close up. We're doing, it's a very broad range, a broad range market product for a big market. At that time, maybe the marketers or the brands were still, close-minded. But I've done telcos wherein it's a Borgi and a Bianca and then me. I mean, hello, who am I there? I mean, diba? I'm
right?
not alpha male. I'm not naman female. So what else? So in a way, I wasn't scared to not have a category.
Right.
Oh,
And the brands are probably also evolving to be woke
yes,
along with the times, which is good.
because
And
I
maybe,
remember one time years. Sorry for I just
no,
remember
no, go on.
for a particular telco that my agent at the time told me, "Oh Tim, you can't get this job because the brand said that there's rumors about you being gay. So you can't." I go rumors. I go but I go like, yeah, but the owner of the company is also rumored to be gay, right? And then all of a sudden, and I saw the head of I was at a wedding in Boracay and he was there at the bar. I go, hey, what's up with this that I can't get this because there are rumors that I'm that of me being gay, but isn't dark whatever. And then, okay, no. Then I got a call. Hey Tim, you're our endorser. So
Wow.
I had to go to the boss to say why not me.
Right. I love that why not me attitude because it really doesn't seem to phase you. Like, even you just express yourself, express your love, fight for what you believe in and love. And you don't seem to really be affected. The way some people are really terrified that what will their family say, their parents will get mad. And you seem to like not even, I wouldn't say care, but you seem to not even fear what anyone or what the world will say.
Because that's not my main thing, because in the end my main thing is I want to get that. So I'm not whatever you think. If I get that, you won't think now because I got it now. So, okay, ano yan?
I think I remember, Ren, when you were dabbling in showbiz, I heard someone say Actually, they're planning a love team na girl for Team Yap. So we can't really blah, 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 blah. I'm like, what?
Ako, meron pa pala akong kalab team pa pala before. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh.
So what other things are you looking forward to now, given the constraints of our situation? I read somewhere that you're interested in tourism. Maybe are you eyeing like a position in government or something related to that?
I've always expressed my love for Philippine tourism. I think eventually, when I am on my give back phase, I will really get into that. I've always, from our different tourism secretaries, I've always been at their disposal from the launch of It's More Fun of the Philippines with Mon Jimenez, and even before with the launch of Apple the App as tourism ambassador with Ace Durano. Every time there's a new one, I volunteer. I tell them that I'm here to be of help. To Berna, of course, who I so love, who is doing such a great job. I look at them as an inspiration. Um, I know the time will come when my expertise will be needed there. But at any time, I'm willing to serve. People will also you should be in politics because but I go no, I don't want to go through an election. I don't want to ask people for votes. I want to be able to just serve without that kind of process in the political side.
What are some of the ideas you have to help tourism? Especially tourism is very severely affected
Yeah.
this year, right? Have you been like toying with any ideas or suggested to Berna things that might help?
Well, now we haven't. I just always comment on her DMs. I mean, on her IG stories, and but I think now is a time when it's not our stay-at-home time shouldn't be taken as a break, as a vacation. It should be a time for us to deepen our research. It's a time for us to plan or dream even bigger, and not be affected by doomsday scenarios. Now is not a time to think that the world is about to end. Now is a time for us to be able to we should reach out to each other and think of ways that we can help. In terms of tourism, there will be a boom because after everybody stays at home, in my little chat groups, they're all saying, okay, which islands do we visit first? So it's not like there's nobody saying there that, oh, but I have to go to New York. I have to be in Paris. No, everybody's saying, which Philippine islands are we going to help first? And among our little circle of friends, a lot of them are married to people from abroad. And so what happens is whenever these guys come to Manila, they go to different parts of the Philippines and they always invite them, come with us to Dumaguete, come with us to this place, to Ganyan, to Zambales, whatever. And I never get to make it. But then I go, wait, they can't know the Philippines more than I do. So at a certain time, I on my own, on our own, me, Javi, we went to Dumaguete, Siquijor, different parts of Palawan, Camsur, everything. So I guess now is the time for us also, after when it's already safe to do so, or right now, start planning your Philippine vacations to go around and really support local businesses, support small businesses, everything that's handmade by a Filipino, everything that's made in a kitchen of a fellow Filipino. That's what you buy, that's what we support. The littlest things count because right now that's all we can count on, the little things, because we can't do big things because of we are crippled by the pandemic.
So what's the first place you're gonna visit with Javi?
I am going to, well, we have either Boracay even, or Balisin even, or Amanpulo, because we have some events to do there. So we're also eyeing those places. Yeah.
Right. So I have some questions here from our viewers. They want to know
Yes.
what tips you have for overcoming shyness, which is very debilitating for Filipinos.
Yes.
And, just when you're at an event, what do you say? How do you approach people? I think people's fear of attending parties and, lots
Being
of
judged.
introverts, right? What's
Yeah.
your advice?
But they should be okay now because they don't have to go to parties because there's no
Right.
parties, right? So guys, if you are shy, now is the time to incubate your shyness and transform it to, like, I don't know, because me, I talk to plants, I talk to every animal, every cat on the street. I talk to them. So, but for me, one thing that a teacher of mine uh, told me when I was way back, told us in class, stuck to me. Shyness is a cousin of pride. Pride because you're afraid to be judged. You're afraid to be to for people, so many fears, and ang pinaka box office hit palagi kasi sa Pilipino is fear. Lagi din
Right.
papadala sa takot. Puro lang
Yeah.
takot, takot, takot. So we were ruled by fear from a historical point of view to now. It's deeply ingrained in our systems. So that's yung una mong kalaban sa sarili mo is yung fear. So for me, you step out and of that fear and go into a different zone, and you realize it's much more, I don't know, liberating. It's like, kuwari, takot ka sa tubig. Eh kung natuto ka mag-swimming, then you enjoy, you embrace the water. Diba? Like I know, diba, you just learned your swimming also
Yes,
recently,
right.
right? With Tito. But I got inspired by your swimming lesson. So I know how to swim, but I still enrolled with a swimming teacher who, when he was teaching me how to swim properly, it felt like it was a spa session. It was like parang it was so new age, and I could hear him. And when you reach out into the water, and I was embracing the water. Because before, there was a fear of water. There was a fear that I'll be slow. There was a fear
Yeah.
I won't be the fastest. No, don't have the fear of being fast or being slow. Eradicate that from your mind. Just think of going through the strokes. Then you realize once you embrace it more, once you enjoy it more, then it becomes a better experience. Same goes with life. If you fear it, you don't want to step out because you're ruled by fear. But when you go from a different mindset and you embrace life and whatever it has to give you, kahit na masakit, masaklap, may magtataydor sa'yo, somebody will talk shit about you, all of that, embrace that because it's part of this thing we call life.
Wow. Sabi na nga ba, we should have published your book, Empowerment, when we met a few years ago. There's so many lessons we can learn from you.
Timing happens.
Yes, yes.
I should start writing no, but then also the Tinyap Live came, and then we had to do a lot
Right.
of things. At the beginning of the lockdown, we set up something with Cloud Eats and Bello to provide food for frontliners for 20 hospitals. So that was every day, and then so somehow things happen and just do it.
You seem to be the type that never stops moving. Did you ever like stop to wallow a little bit or get sad or wala? Puro proactive. Ano lang.
When I have these moments when I feel like I just don't want to do anything, I don't know. And then also I see Wisdom Wednesdays of Sarah Black.
Oh.
All of a sudden, just recently, what one of the things that I'm guilty about, because I eat so much, and I feel like if I eat so much, and of course we are also vain that we know we can't gain so much weight, because of our little vanity, so I go, oh shit, I was ganito and I ate too much or whatever, or I drank so much or whatever. And then the next day I saw Sarah Black, and Sarah said, what comes into my stream of awareness is fluctuations. I think sometimes we judge ourselves because, ang ganda-ganda na eh. Biglang sinira ko na naman yesterday my pattern. Or I didn't naman work out. O kuwari, kasi we're so obsessed with being the routine version of ourselves.
She's so right.
Being so obsessed to being the super versions of ourselves that when you become human, you feel you're less. But hey, we are human because we are human. And we have to embrace and be okay that we malfunction too. Kung robot nga nagmamalfunction, tao pa. So I become more forgiving of myself whenever I don't come up to my own expectations. I think maybe maturity, but wow, big word. I think at this stage of life, I've become kinder to myself. Yeah, I don't punish myself for these little things anymore.
When you compare yourself, now you just turned 40 or early 40s. If you could say something to your lost and younger self, what advice would you give?
Enjoy. That's it. Enjoy, uh, and be excited for the ride because there's so much to be excited about, and just be kind. Be kind to people because good things are about to come.
Thank you so much for being the life of our little TikTok party, Tia. We learned so much from you about fearlessness, resilience, positivity, and taking action. And I'm sure we'll all continue to do so as you achieve even greater things. See you at the next party, whether virtual or in real
Yes,
life. Thank
yes.
you so
See
much, Tia.
you. Bye.
All
Thank you, Myrza.
right.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you. And this has been TikTok. See you soon.